Welcome to CPG Vibes. No script, just chat. We talk all things food and beverage and so much more. Feel our vibe and search for CPG Vibes on Apple Podcast or Spotify, and make sure to give us a 5-star review. If you'd like to sponsor our show with your product or service or be a guest, email us at cpgvibes100@gmail.com. Now your hosts, me, Alex Baer with Genius Juice, and Wade Yenny. All right, welcome to episode 100 of CPG Vibes. I am your humbled co-host, Alex Baer with Genius Juice. And we got to, I guess, my right, technically to my left, maybe both. We always get confused on the directions here. Mr. Spiffy Wade Yenny. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. I don't know if we told our audience that there was a attire requirement, but
Yep,
there is, right?
there it is. It's not black ties only. It's just ties only, and a little more on the goofy side. I like yours. You have kind of for those that are watching live, right? The blue, kind of dark blue stripes. And I got mine from way back when I was selling copiers at an office supply company, Total Corporate Solutions, back in Torrance, California. So this is the first time I've worn like a tie for like kind of a business, even though it's not businessy, but for something like this, whether it's an event, a show, in probably 5 years, 6 years. And that's a sign of the CPG industry, very laid back.
I think for me, it was Christmas party last year. So yeah, it's been a year, and I'm not upset about that.
Now, is that a clip on, or did you actually tie it?
Oh no, this is the real
McCoy.
The real McCoy. I did wear clip-ons in junior high school, but this is the real deal.
Nice. Well, good stuff. We're really honored to be here. This is going to be a special format for those that read all the posts, where we're going to bring on two honorary mystery guests right away, and then we're going to bring on a third. And what we didn't say is that the third is going to be pulled and plucked directly from our live audience. So if you'd like to be the third guest on our show, and you're going to be showing up with the other two guests, almost at the same time, just shout us out, let us know in the comments, and then we'll pick someone. Give us your email. We'll get you the StreamYard link as long as StreamYard is still working.
I was going to say I can send in LinkedIn chat too. So
and LinkedIn chat, that's even easier.
Yep.
I should have thought of that. So a couple laundry list items we're still going to go over, even though it is a very, very special episode, is make sure to give us, if there's never a better time to give us 5 stars, this is the time to give us 5 stars. So you go on Apple Podcast on your phone, Android or Apple, and just give us 5 stars. We're at, I think, 125, right, Wade? 125. Did we go up?
No, we are at 125. We are at 125. Yep.
So yeah, make sure to do that. We want to get to 165, 170, really just to get the show out more, get more exposure. Because at the end of the day, we're not really making a lot of money off this. We're just keeping the lights on here and keeping the doors on the hinges in our offices here. So we're just really doing it for you guys in the CPG community. If you'd like to sponsor our show, speaking of keeping the lights on, right? I think I barely paid my electric bill, right? So we're running pretty tight here at CPG Vibes. So we need a little more sponsorships.
You got some hamsters in the background running that electricity there, aren't you?
Yeah, something over there. I wish you couldn't see in my room, but you can. It's a little embarrassing. So yeah, make sure if you'd like to sponsor us, cpgvibes100@gmail.com, and we will get back to you. It's $350 for an introductory sponsorship. If you'd like to be a guest, not doing a lot of guest spots this year, we're going to do some. So if you'd like to be an honorary guest on our show later in this year, same thing, cpgvibes100@gmail.com. I think one thing we always do is we shout out comments here, right? And then in about 5 or 10 minutes, we're going to bring on our surprise honorary guests. So stay tuned for that. And of course, I also need to mention, and this is just such a praise for them, is V Driven. We always mention them on the show, but I want to make a big point to mention them early, really early in the show. Luke Abbott is the absolute best. He's the CEO and founder of V Driven. They are an ongoing sponsor for us. They support us on the back end of the show. They sponsor each and every episode for us. They have people that are helping us to administrate and keep the show running on the back end. So we really are truly appreciative of Luke Abbott and the entire V Driven, Kanishi, and everyone else at the V Driven team. If you V Driven, just a little bit about them, they offer a suite of different services for CPG brands, from master sales to accounting to trade spend deduction, and they want to make you as successful as possible in the CPG arena. And they have years and years and years, I think many more years than our combined years, Wade.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right.
Probably over, I think they're at 100 years, just like this episode. So make sure to reach out to vdriven.com, and then luke.abbott, Abbott, at vdriven.com. All right, let's shout out some comments here. Hopefully it's about our ties. Let's see. There is a tremendous amount of comments here, so let's go through them. And I got to say, man, 2 years. We're at the 2-year mark, just over it. So it just went like that.
It did.
We covered a lot of topics, a lot of subjects. We'll get into more about.
Literally covered one side of the country to the other.
Yeah, I think we rated. I looked it up this morning. We rated number one, top 10, I should say, for CPG business podcasts, like more food and beverage, business podcasts in New Zealand, Canada, Chile, and one other European country, I think France or somewhere in Central Europe. So we ranked everywhere except, ironically, in the US. So that's next.
Yeah, we still have mountains to climb, Alex.
Yeah, US is the hardest market, whether you're trying to be top ranked on a podcast or if you're launching a CPG brand, right? It's a dog eat dog world out there. So some comments here. We have Patrick Sinclair Frye, the Road to 100 master. We have Kenny Hausman. Happy 100th episode, fellas. Thank you, Kenny. And again, just a reminder for anyone who wants to be the honorary third guest, make sure to shout it out, and we'll pick someone from the crowd. We have LinkedIn user, the famous LinkedIn user, which I think I'll need help on that, Wade, on who that is.
Yeah, I was going to say this. The comments are coming in hot and heavy. I'm going to have to reference the phone for some of this. So because as I've mentioned, I'm not being rude when I look at the phone, but typically we can't see all the comments on our stream, so we're kind of dependent on other means of figuring that out. So let me do the research there while you're doing that, Alex.
Sure. And before I roll into more comments, I wanted to take a beat, maybe 30 seconds to a minute. How do you feel about, being here, the CPG community, episode 100? What's one big thing, a big takeaway from doing this for 2 years? And then I actually just did this at a summit. What's one big takeaway you've had in the last 2 years? What's one give that you want to give in 2024 on the show to the CPG community? And what's one ask? Putting you on the spot, no script, just chat, go.
That's me?
That's you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were killing time while I was looking to see who the other person was. That person was Deb D. So go from there. All right, ask one at a time because I can't. I'm not multitasking.
Yes, I did. Well. I was overloading.
Yeah, one at a time.
Yeah. Plus, you were looking at something else and multitasking. Yeah. When guys get older like us, because we're both kind of in that range, it's multitasking is very hard. So I have trouble too. So first one is, what is one big takeaway from helping run the show for 2 years?
All right. I'll start with that. I was going to say, let's
start with one. Only can handle one.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So what I would say is, for me, and I think I alluded to it in a post or talking to someone, again, as you get older, it gets foggy. For me, I think it's been a great way to keep connected to so many brands, emerging brands, and just the community in general, because, there's no secret, I've left Southern California just about 2 years ago. We're approaching real quickly. But in doing so, my role has changed. Obviously, I'm doing something a little bit different with a little bit bigger company. So, when we started the show, I was in deep, right, with so many people in the community. And I feel like moving in a different locale and in the role that I'm not touching founders like I used to. So I think for me, it's been that way of reconnecting with so many people. Not to steal a line from Luke Abbott's podcast, but just reconnecting and staying connected in the community. And for me, that's been the biggest part for me.
Cool. All right. And question two: what is one thing you want to give back to the community in 2024, in addition to what you've already given?
Oh, I don't have any organs left. I think
Two kidneys.
yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, I don't know. I think I already gave one away. I think just to continue to be real and be myself, and I think there's one thing that I again with a new role, new environment, different things. I'm not as accessible as I used to be. So I want to continue to be true to myself and true to the community, but at the same time, I have to kind of look at, okay, how does that work, and juggling work life, home atmosphere, and work life balance. So I want to be accessible, but I would say with an asterisk, selectively accessible, if that makes sense.
Yeah, which is very, very wise. And then the last one is, what is one ask, something that you would want in return from the community, or just someone at
Mm.
CPG?
Oh, geez.
Did I
I
just
don't know.
stump? Did I just stump Wade?
I was gonna say no. I just think it's it's one of the and I'm overdue to post this again from my mentor Steve Black in Louisiana. But it's rule number 2 of the 5 rules. It's be kind. I mean, and whether that's with not necessarily speaking to me, but just with each other. I mean, I think what makes the community what it is the sharing of information. We've witnessed it on the podcast in the last couple of weeks where someone had a need or was looking for something live, and we solved that live right here. And so I think the more you can look at it as being together and tackling things on your own. Mark talks about it. So many people talk about LinkedIn as a platform is so huge and such an important thing that I think the more people realize that, and just being kind of there's the other thing that, and this goes back ways, but someone told me a long time ago, there's no stupid questions, only stupid people. And I think that's kind of harsh, but meaning don't be afraid to ask questions, and don't be afraid to put yourself out there. And Kenny, I don't know if he's still on here or not, but he put himself out there in the last couple of weeks, and just really just letting the community, your followers, the people that you're interacting with, understand who you are, and just being true to yourself, and then being kind, right, and giving. If you're able to help someone, do it. And if someone can help you, ideally they're going to do it as well. So so if I was being difficult, Alex, I know we don't have all the time in the world, but if you were going to answer one or all 3 of those questions quickly, what would you say?
Yeah, I'll keep mine to under 20 minutes, because yours was about 20, right? Somewhere around there. I'll shave a 0 off that and make it 2 minutes. So for me, my biggest takeaway was that when you give, you get, right? When you help people, and you don't expect anything in return, and you just do it out of the love and passion for helping others, and also the passion for the CPG industry, you get a lot back, both in how you feel as a person and how you feel better inside just helping others. Plus, people are more apt to help you if you have some issues or challenges. So that's the biggest takeaway I've had in the last 2 years and co-hosting this fine show with you. And then something that I want to give in 2024 is I would say to listen more. That's going to be my give, to truly listen more, both in person and business calls, clients, sales, and also right here on this show with you. So listen, truly actively listening and understanding where the other person is and where they're coming from and how they feel in that moment in the conversation. And then my ask is just for everyone to continue helping each other and be there for each other, because it's a tough environment, as we've said, 87 times, right, on the show. and it's not getting any easier this year. So help each other, reach out to each other, make a phone call, check in, see how they're doing with their business, how they're doing mentally, personally, and see how you can be a resource and help. So that's it. So we're going to bring on our guests in 3 or 4 minutes. Okay. Cause me and Wade can see them. This is what's cool about StreamYard. You can see them in the green room, right?
So Alex, I'm working on the third. Are you good with that?
Working on the third. So do you have someone?
Yeah. Are you good with that?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. I'll work on that behind the scenes while you keep talking. How's that?
Okay. You see, you have someone in mind, you're messaging them and getting that all worked out.
Yeah. Okay. The suspense is killing people.
Okay. And you know how to get the StreamYard link, right? Under invite?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You're good. I don't know why I'm asking you that. You've been on this software for 2 freaking years. So, cool. All right. So a couple more comments while Wade is working on that. And then after 2 or 3 minutes, we're going to bring on our honorary guests and we're going to continue and keep this show rolling. Kenny Hausman, I wonder if Gavin Conkle oiled his beard just for this. I just talked to him right before the show. So he doesn't have a tie on, but I think he did oil his beard. I heard something going on when I was talking to him. So I think that was it. Gavin, what's up, brother? Good to see you. Hope you're having a good workout. He said he was working out. Don't get too big, Gavin. Okay. We want to make sure you fit through the door at Expo West, right? So must have borrowed Gavin's ties. That's Patrick Sinclair. Don Tolk, what's up, brother? He just had a recent promotion, right, to, I believe, president, right, of Neolea. So congrats to you. Happy Friday, all, and congrats on the 100th episode. Alex and Wade, thank you, Don. And Randall, Barton, Howard.
It's my buddy Barton. That's we work together.
What's the emoji there?
He's cheering us forward. Yes, okay. Yes, that's my buddy Barton from our time in Louisiana together. Barton's a great friend and just a fantastic businessman. So, yep, good pal.
We have Allison Clay. She said, "I'm game to join." So that's one possibility that I know Wade's working in the background here. Another Kenny comment. Any Kenny comment, we're going to say all of them. Gavin will say maybe 1 or 2 and then omit the rest of them because it's Gavin. All right, Julie, we love you, Gavin. Julie Elder, we have to keep saying that. For those that are new to the show, it's out of love. So Julie Elder, happy 100, guys, looking fresh. Couple more comments here. How you doing on that? Okay, we're good.
Yeah, we're ready to go.
Ready to go. To Fancy Food Vegas. So couple quick announcements and we're going to bring on the guests. Fancy Food show in Las Vegas at the Las Vegas Convention Center Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. I will be there on Monday, so I'm going to be driving out there. I decided I'm going to see some clients out there, hang out with a couple colleagues and friends and all that. Second thing, Nut Pods. There was an acquisition. It's very quick news here because we try to pass us off like a news channel in a way because we have ties on, right? We should talk about the weather too, right? With the ties on. Pearl Rock has acquired Nut Pods for an undisclosed amount. That's Mid-Ocean Partners and Pearl Rock Partners private equity groups have acquired Nut Pods as of this week. WeFunder, Painterland Sisters has broke $1 million raised for their organic yogurt.
It's amazing.
And we obviously have Expo West coming up here in about a little less than 2 months. All right, so I'm going to introduce the first 2, and then our one that just joined, you can introduce her. Let me put some music on. I got to play this one because I love instrumental. All right, so we have Bella Hughes with Better Sour, and also she was the founder of Shaka Tea, which sold. How you doing? To King's Hawaiian. Hi, Bella.
Hi, good afternoon. Thanks for having me on. Congrats on 100.
Thank you. We have Rahul Batra. He is the founder of Raja, which is an RTD chai latte. I'll be all over that. How you doing, my friend?
Doing great. Thanks for having me on.
And we have
Rachel Robb, the Executive Vice President of Growth and Strategy at Critical Mass Groups. Welcome, Rachel. It's been a long time.
Happy 100.
Not really a long time, but good to have you on the show.
In just a minute.
That's right.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Are you Absolutely. At the Hermosa Beach office?
No, I'm not that lucky. I only get to visit that. I'm in Arizona, so
Ah, got
It's
it.
a nice little getaway, though. It doesn't suck when they ask me to come into the office.
Yeah, seriously. So the context behind that, and I'll shut up after this because one of my gives this year is also not to talk too much and listen more. Right, I'm already breaking that. Is the critical mass group office is fucking awesome. It's
It is.
amazing. It's not huge, but it's big enough for a conference room. There's a few offices. It's kind of rustic, but it is literally about a 1 minute walk if it's a go on the crosswalk to Hermosa Beach Pier and to the beach. You can literally see the sand and the ocean and hear the waves from their office. It's amazing. So if you ever in the area in Los Angeles, visit Critical Mass, not only for the view, obviously the view is great, but for the people. So
Absolutely. It's a great place. Thank you.
And I'm sure we're gonna talk to everybody, but I have to say, if you're not familiar with Critical Mass Group, Rachel, help me out. Someone made a post this week, just really shouting out. They're one of the most respected brokers / sales agencies in the business. I can't think of who made the post.
Was it Randy Evans?
It might have been Randy, but I mean the comments underneath it were just people over and over just touting CMG and how
we paid them all.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. I'm sure you did.
We did.
Yeah, but those of you that aren't familiar with CMG, they do a fantastic job, and again, they cover the entire country. And Rachel has been with CMG now how long?
3 months.
3 months. 3 months. But Rachel is well respected and brings just a plethora of relationships with her. So big things ahead with CMG. If you're not familiar, you should be, or you will be soon. So
awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yep.
Well, on that note, Wade, let's go around the table and just do a quick introduction about names, which we already know, and then who you're with or what you founded, and a little about you. Honestly, I want to hear about what drives you and gives you a lot of passion and energy, whether it's personal or business. It could be either one or both. And I'm going to start it out with Rachel because we are already touching on CMG. So Rachel, go ahead.
All right, a little bit about myself. I've been in the industry about 17 years. I started at Sunflower that was bought by Sprouts. I do live in Phoenix, by the way. I had my own agency for a while, just left a national brokerage, CA Fortune, and now I'm with CMG. The thing that drives me in life is being vulnerable enough to make mistakes and connections in order to learn and grow with a growth mindset every single day. So that can be professionally, that can be personally, but it's how I thrive.
Love it. Okay, great.
Awesome.
All right, so we're going to go counterclockwise here. So next is Rahul Batra with Raja. Thanks for joining us. Tell us about you, my man.
Thank you, Alex and Wade. Appreciate it. My name is Rahul Batra. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Raja. It's a ready-to-drink chai latte. We're launching this spring, so we're currently pre-launch, but excited to give our first reveal on this podcast. And I'd say what drives me is really, honestly, building great relationships. I've been in the CPG industry for 7 years now, and I think one of the things I love is that making friends is the business. I used to work at Anheuser-Busch, and that was a motto that we took to heart. And I see that in my work day to day. It's about finding great people and giving them the resources to do great work, and really making relationships that can benefit both parties. And I think that's helped me every time I've thought about business in that framework. It's only brought good things. So that's what drives me.
Awesome. Really quick with your product, and we're gonna go to Bella here. When you said it's launching, and then where is it going to be launching? What area of the country, or is it online?
Yeah, so it's going to be only in San Francisco. We're doing the inch wide, mile deep philosophy.
Yep, great place to launch.
Just in the city of San Francisco, where I'm based, and we have a great distribution partners and co-packing partners in the area. So yeah, super excited. We'll be out this March in retailers in SF.
Cool. All right, I'll be checking out. My sister lives up there, so next time I'm up there, I'll
buy some
awesome. Go ahead.
And real quick, if you want to sign up to be Raul, help me out. To get the information about the pre-launch and all that good stuff, the website's there. Drink Raja. That's RAJA.com. Put your information in, and you'll keep up to date when as things progress, right?
Exactly. So yeah, anyone in the industry, if you're a retailer, distributor, or even just want to follow along our journey, just put your email in there, and we'll keep you updated as things progress.
Love it. I'm sure you're going to be hitting Berkeley Bowl and Rainbow Grocery first. Those two.
Yeah, you bet.
Yep. So Bella probably knows those because her product, at least I saw it in there when I was up there. So Bella Hughes, she is with Better Sour, and then also she previously owned Shaka Tea, which sold to King's Hawaiian Bakery, which is based literally 7-minute drive from where I'm sitting right now. So Bella, how are you?
I am doing very well. It's nice to just be hanging out with people in CPG that I have admired from afar but haven't met before in real life, except you, Alex. We met at a trade show floor many years ago. But a little bit about what drives me is I think it's telling stories through products and making connections with other people. I originally am from the art world. I never thought I was in nonprofit art and culture for over a decade that I would become a businesswoman. And I really look at the products that I've, been fortunate enough to co-found, from Shaka Tea to Better Sour. I actually had a failed ice cream company before Shaka, so this is my third time. Being a co-founder is really, how do you tell a story? How do you make a connection? And definitely being a repeat founder, and now I've been in CPG for nearly a decade. I really love helping other founders, especially women that might not come from like traditional business backgrounds, become really comfortable telling their story and going for really big goals.
Awesome. Well, it's really great because I saw the entire journey of Shaka when it was in glass bottles, like when you first launched. And was it originally refrigerated and then you went to more shelf stable later? It was always shelf stable.
Always shelf stable because I did ice cream first, and I learned as a very early startup.
Right.
So mad respect for every founder here who's doing something that is not shelf stable. I remember when we did ice cream, just trying to ship something to a buyer when you have no money, no accounts, and it's like $70 on dry ice. And then what if it's delayed and something's melted? So definitely with Shaka Tea, my second startup in CPG, it was shelf stable, and now Better Sour, of course, shelf stable.
Love it. And then I saw you switch to cans, with Shaka. Obviously this is post-acquisition, but I like the can look. I saw it in Sprouts, which is, I think, a national launch. So that was pretty cool. So good stuff. All right. Well, for those that have already figured out, and for those that don't know yet, we don't have a script here. I don't have a list of questions. Literally, it's a blank page, which is not great planning on our part, but we don't plan for this. We just talk about anything and all things CPG. So let's start it out.
I was going to say, this is a perfect storm here because we have a multi-time founder on. We have an emerging founder, and we have someone in the sales/brokerage space. So
every spectrum.
You've got every spec, and you've got a retailer. You've got Alex. You've got just a wide variety of experience here to ask questions. But I guess I would start with Bella. I'll ask a question until we see some come up in the chat. But Bella, with you mentioned the refrigeration, those kind of things, and that transition, and where you're at now. What has been one of the biggest learning that you would pass on to our listeners, our viewers, whatever you want to say? What would you say, like right now, if you're in Raul's space or just getting going? What would be your first point of advice for someone?
Okay, this might be controversial, but my first piece of advice, and something, because I'm also really, really into just working with other founders, I do some angel investing, is you need to have really great instinct as a founder. I think that you can't really focus group out. You just innately, a good founder just kind of can see a trend before it's trendy. They just have a feeling and they're super passionate about it. But then also marrying that with a deep sense of humility. And the only way you're going to learn about how your product's connecting to customers is doing demos. demos. I spent all fall with my co-founder, Samira. We did demos at Town and Country. We did demos at Central Market. Doing demos early stage is really important to marry your good instinct, because probably if you're a good founder, a good product, there's just something trendy that you kind of knew like ahead of the time that it was going to hit, it was going to resonate, and hopefully you have a passion for that. But just hearing how that idea, how that passion is resonating on shelf with customers and taking that feedback is so, so important. We're always making little tweaks, like even Better Sour, we're doing little things like we realized a lot of people don't know what calamansi is, a citrus we grew up with in Hawaii. So next production run coming out, it'll say calamansi lime, just to further help guide the customer as to, you know, what fruit category it's in.
Yeah,
awesome.
I can definitely say, I mean, because I'm a brand owner, brand founder, just like Bella. And then Bella, there's also an additional question here that demos are really key. You got to go in the right stores, right? The ones that are higher velocity. But having a product that's easy to demo, number one, is great, especially shelf stable. And you get that customer once, you get them and they love it, you're going to get them for life. So the stores that I see take off are not stores where 100 people buy it maybe once a month. It's stores where 3 people buy it 4 times a week, right? And that's how you start building that velocity and building your tribe and starting regionally. So, and one thing that I didn't even mention in the intro is that you're from Hawaii. So
I'm an Iranian American from Hawaii, which is the story of Better Sour, which I'm very proud about, raising awareness on MENA, Middle East, North African CPG founders. For everyone listening, we started volunteer MENA CPG group. It's at Expo West, any trade show. We kind of gather together, and it's just a whole category of founders in our industry that folks aren't really talking about. The MENA founders.
Awesome.
Very cool. I'm gonna look that up for sure right after. So I want to, we're gonna come back to a question for you, Bella. We're just gonna give some spotlight over to, I'm gonna go to Rachel, because on the master sales side, right? And like, again, I just came up with this question 3 seconds ago. So like when a team, right? When a critical mass team is going to a store and doing sales, what are really the best ways to really grow in that store, get more shelf space, and like, how do you keep the shelf space? Because that's the biggest thing. That's the biggest challenge I've had with Genius Juice. You get like a whole row and then you leave, and then you come back like 2 weeks later and someone got a 6-pack of beer to the dairy manager and now it's gone and you're back down to like 3 facing. So like, what are ways that like the team is going out there to really secure that shelf space? And I want to add too that critical mass, and like, you guys are very humble. Like Dan, everyone's so humble. You were the ones that basically grew and helped grow Olipop from a very early stage in Southern California. I remember meeting with Dan and with Rob, right? Rob Alschuler.
Randy.
Randy?
Oh, no. Yes. I'm sorry. Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And so like, and I remember seeing the Olipop can on the wall. I'm like, what is Olipop? And then it was like 2016. And they're like, oh, it's a new brand that we're, blowing up. And they use the word blow up. We're blowing up in SoCal. I'm like, okay, let's see how that goes, because CPG is fucking hard. I'm really going to blow it up. And here we are. So with all that said, back to the question, what are ways that your sales force goes out there and kind of solidifies shelf space long-term?
Yeah, absolutely. It has to be a marriage between what happens at headquarter with the buyer and what happens in store. So, for the most part, as from the headquarter perspective, you want to really understand that retailer inside and out, right? The last thing anybody ever wants to do is walk into a retailer and talk to a buyer and you've never been in that store before, or it was your first time ever. You've never looked at data, right? Those are some big mistakes that a lot of people make, especially when they're covering such a wide span of territory. So you want to make sure you understand, like, what is their objective? What is their consumer? What are they trying to accomplish when you actually make it on the shelf? And then you marry that with, once you have that success and you get it on board. And again, as a new emerging brand, I would also say, one really important thing when you're working with a broker network and when you're sitting in front of a buyer is your story. And how passionate you are about it does make a difference, right? That's that human connection touch point. So, once you get on the shelf, it's a matter of, understanding what that retailer wants promotional wise and making sure it fits within your budget. No one wants to walk out of the room screwed when it comes to financials. But then you also need someone who not only, understands that you might want to do demos and, have shopper marketing and social media activation, but also you want someone who's touching that shelf, right? Making sure they're going in and making sure that everything that's happening is viable. All your authorizations are on shelf. All of your promotions or new item launches are being executed the way that they're supposed to, whether that retailer is schematicized or it isn't. There's ways to do that, whether it is, we have a SoCal field team that goes into, a ton of stores in SoCal, and we see a lot of momentum, new item placements, secondary placements, displays, etc. But there's also other avenues if you don't have that luxury with your immediate agency. There's plenty of merchandising teams across the country that will help. There's a lot of what are we calling them today? The ad hoc, where you can do surge work with the tracks, the observers of the world, stuff like that, just to make sure that there is a touch point on your brand day in and day out, especially in the first 6 months of your launch. It's really important. And again, once you're on the shelf, that doesn't necessarily mean someone's going to buy it. So adding a layer of, like you mentioned, Bella, the demos, adding something, doing something with like a social nature. And then, really the best vehicle that is working right now, social media. How do you leverage that? Are you posting yourself and your brand on LinkedIn? Are you posting it on TikTok? Are you, have fun with it. People enjoy watching these videos. They enjoy getting on these podcasts and making fun of, Wade's yellow shirt. And, they listen. Everyone listens when, they're laughing about something. So those are the things that I would say. You start at headquarter, you move into retail, and then you find the way that works for you to really touch that consumer and get the story in their hand.
All fantastic points. And I think, real quick, because I know we want to get to Rahul next, but Gavin, I think you touched on a lot of the things that you would lump into answering Gavin's question, but best practices for brand to broker partnerships. So there's a little bit different from the retailer side that you talked a lot about just now, but as far as Gavin's question, what would you say?
Yeah, I would say transparency, right? Don't bullshit one another. Don't sugarcoat anything. Give real feedback in both directions, because, if I have a really great relationship with, a buyer at the fresh market and he pulls me aside and says, hey, I don't like this brand. It's not going to make it. The packaging sucks. It tastes awful. If I don't have the ability to go back to a brand and tell them that, they're not going to know that they ever need to pivot. They don't know if they're ever going to change. And then they might get that same feedback over and over. So you have to be able to have that open communication and trust within another. Your broker partner should be an extension of your brand. They should have the time to provide strategy and, know what your passion is and be able to present it in that same way. And also on the broker side, like, I want to hear if you have a problem with something that we're doing, or if there's a way that we can better ourselves. That's how partnerships grow, is just open communication and candid feedback.
Wow, that's amazing. And I think if you didn't already know, again, CMG and or Rachel, there's a reason why they do what they do. There's a reason why Rachel is one of the most respected people in the business. And I think she just proved that in the last 3 minutes, not that she needed to. So, Alex, what's next for Rahul?
Yeah, I have a really good question for Rahul, because you are in the knee-deep, honestly, like neck-deep thick of it right now, man, and launching your brand, and we feel the excitement and the pain of all that, and both, and many more emotions that go into that. What has been the biggest learning so far in getting this thing off the ground and launching in about a month? And then what, because founders have them. I've had many of them. Bella's had them. Mistakes. We make mistakes in the past because that's how we get better and improve. What are some mistakes or a mistake that you've already made in the early stage of launching your brand that you've learned from? So those two things. So so how's it been? Knee deep in it or neck deep in it? And then what's a mistake that you've learned from and gone on to improve?
All right. Before I answer that, got to get some chai in my system. So
cheap plug.
Can I see the label?
Of
The
course,
Kentucky
of
label.
course. Sneak preview, first world
Like
premiere.
closer, move it closer to your
Yeah,
camera.
of course. There you go.
I like it,
This
Raja.
is a sample
cool.
can only. So of course, as of right now, we're just purely offering samples to retailers. So that actually won't be our launch packaging, but that does feature the main logo. So yeah, had to get the plug in. Thanks, Alex, for that.
Yeah, I got a quick question. So Raja, where does that name come from? What's the origination?
Yeah, so Raja means king in Hindi. So of course, chai, the inspiration was, over 1 billion people every day are drinking chai in the eastern part of the world, and especially in India. And so that was, of course, the source of the inspiration for my cousin Dhruv, who I co-founded this company with, and I, was to bring really the flavors and aromas and richness that chai is, and the experience and the emotion that you feel when you meet a chai wall on the street to the US. And we just really feel like we can up that experience here for Americans. But to answer your question, Alex, I think those are great questions. I think the biggest learning for me so far has been trusting myself and trusting intuition. I think, Bella, you mentioned this earlier, but it's such, you're talking about starting a brand involves so much. And especially if it's just you or just you and a co-founder, you're fully in it. And sometimes it can feel very overwhelming to sort of figure out, okay, what do I need to do? You look left and you look right and you see other brands and how they've done things. And I think often what happens, at least, for me, I've fallen victim to this sometimes, is you start to look at brands that have been successful and say, hey, I think I might need to mimic this or copy this because it worked for them. And that's not always the case, and I think many brands that we've seen succeed, especially in the last 5 to 10 years in CPG, have done things a little bit differently. They've put even just a slight twist and have an angle that informs their culture. And I think that then not only attracts, buyers to be on board because you are different and you've differentiated your product, but it actually builds a culture for the company where eventually employees want to be a part of the mission that you're doing because you're different. So I think the biggest learning for me has just been having the confidence to trust myself, and with my co-founder as well, to encourage him to trust himself. And I think, in terms of lessons, wow, there's way more of those, or mistakes, as you said. I think, in the early days, one of the things I wanted to share with the folks on this podcast is finding co-packers is freaking hard. And so, just allot yourself the time to do the due diligence in reaching out, building those relationships, understanding, hey, is it a good fit? Are they sort of, going to be able to bring you up to speed and kind of follow the pace of your journey? Because some co-packers might be at such capacity that they can't really take you on, or they might not be able to work with you on R&D and formulation. Unfortunately, we found a great partner that really was the perfect fit for us, and I count that as a huge blessing. But the mistake, I think, was feeling a little bit rushed in that early stage to try to land on a perfect partner, and it did take some time, and I'm glad we eventually took our time with doing that.
Great, makes sense. One thing that we've had, I just talked to him today, Jake Carls from Midday Squares. He's been on our show, I think, like 3 or 4 times. And one thing he said, he says a lot of things that stick with me, but this one really stuck with me. As soon as you try to be someone else, you lose. When you are authentically yourself, you're usually going to win, or always going to win, right? And you're in personally, spiritually, you're going to win, even if you don't win in the market, but you're going to win by doing it your way and the way that reflects who you are as a person and your personality. So I think that definitely is level setted right here in what you're doing. Like, you're doing it from the heart, intuition, culturally, ethnically, you're staying close to that as well. And that's the way to do it, man. That's the way to do it.
Right on. We've got, I know, Alex, we have one more question for Rachel. I think we have 2 for Isabella. How do you want to do Isabella first, Rachel?
Yeah, we'll do 2 more questions, and then we're going to clear the deck and get everyone on their way to Friday, all our guests. And then me and you are going to do our closing statements.
Got it.
Maybe closing statements is the wrong word from a legal perspective, but let's go into the questions. I'm going to let you handle that, Wade.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say, I'll go with Rachel's first, and then Isabella's is a 2-prong. So we'll do that. So Allison Clay wants to know, Rachel, how long would you stay with a new broker? How do you know if they are the right fit for your brand? How would you measure that just looking at sales data, or how would you measure it otherwise?
Yeah, I would say, when you first sign with a broker, you guys should have outlined your expectations, right? And you want to make sure they're realistic in both directions. Not especially if depending on, the size of your brand and what your KPIs are, really understanding, what's possible in the first 6 months. Because if you're looking at, a lot of the national retailers, you might not have an opportunity to get in one of those in the first 6 months or even 9 months or even in a year, right? So you want to it really does depend on what your goals are. But I would say, a year is where I would say, the synergy within that time, you're going to solidify your relationship and they're going to become a true extension of yourself. And, that's where you're going to know you've gone through all the cycles, you can do things, at open reviews, etc. But what I would say is the visibility of work, right? Data, yeah, that's one thing, but that doesn't really show you what the broker's actually doing on your behalf. You should have some type of tracking, whether it is, meetings, whether it is updates, etc. You need to see visibility of work on a regular basis, and you should also be receiving proactive communication versus reactive, meaning you shouldn't have to ask on a constant basis for an update. It's not fair to anybody. When we're all running around, I just said this to someone yesterday, and we're firefighters because we're being reactive and always fixing problems or answering questions that we should have just given you the information, 4 days ago. We're all just stressing ourselves out and killing ourselves out, from the inside out. So proactivity, make sure that, you're seeing what they're doing every day and you feel good that they're pitching your product on your behalf. That's another thing. And that's that instinct that, everyone's talked about today is just, you should instinctually know if they're doing good work for you.
Perfect. Perfect.
100%.
So I think, 100%. So Isabella, we've got Gavin's question here that's on the screen, but before you get to Gavin, it's a real quick one. Earlier, someone asked, I think it was Rich, asked
about Canada.
Yeah, if your product's available in Canada, if so, where?
We love Canada. Samira and I have been traveling for the past 20 years together. Did a girls' trip to Toronto, one of our favorite trips, but unfortunately, we're not available in Canada yet. Only US.
Got it. And so Gavin's question then was your strategy in the early days. I'm guessing going back to Shaka as far as scaling, going from region to region, and when did you feel comfortable jumping to another region, or did it happen fast? And if it's applicable now with your new brand or Shaka, whatever you want to do there as far as answering Gavin's question.
So I know that the industry standard is inch wide, mile deep. But there also is the reality. I think it's actually pretty hard to get a yes from an account, and you're under tremendous pressure if you've raised, some dilutive capital to grow, because you said you took the money to actually grow. And I've just never been personally, and I know there are founders that have, and they've got great relationships for one really nice big urban core where they can choose that core. My journey from Shaka to Better Sour has been very much about who are the right retail partners. I'm not geographically focused, and where is there just the right fit? We know the customer's probably an early adopter. We really connect in the buyer. I think having a buyer that is genuinely a champion of the brand and is excited by your product, by your story, is so, so important. I've worked with buyers that they almost feel like an extension, like a good broker is, of your team, because they're so emotionally vested and they think that you're going to help grow their category and have larger carts at checkout. So that's sort of how I did it with Shaka. This is how we're doing it with Better Sour. And, it's been a really interesting month this month, because we went last year from being sold in just shy of 100 doors. Erewhon, Foxtrot, Central Market, Town and Country, ShopRite, Fairway are some of our early ones from last year. And we'll be in over, I think, 1,400 by the end of this month. We just launched nationally in Sprouts, the Fresh Market, World Market. In our home state, Hawaii, we're rolling out into Foodland, and we've got a really big retailer that we'll announce at the end of this month. So it's very much at all geographies, but I'd say, again, the buyers are very excited. We've got that communication. We're supporting them. And it's right now, we've just had 2 team members join, giving them a shout out, Aaron and Naya. And Samira and I, we all have our food handler license, and on the weekends, we're trying to do as many demos as we can. I have to go back to demos because I think as you choose where you're launching to in the retailers, learning about the customer, learning about like the way the store schematic is, learning about just the cadence of how your buyer is ordering. You can't outsource that in the early days. You, the founder, and your core team need to be there and take those learning backs. It's the greatest gift that you can actually go do demos yourself. I'm so appreciative. It's always for me and for any brand that I'm, an early stage advisor on. It's really been where we all get the most learnings.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree with that. Right. If I didn't agree, I would say it. Right. I'm a straight shooter on the show, but I think there's certain areas where you want to outsource, which is, I know, kind of a, not, or partner up is really the better word, right? To partner up, critical mass on the sales side, because sales are very crucial, and it's hard to get into all these different doors and hard to merchandise all these stores when you're a small brand. But then there's other things that you can take in-house and basically do yourself because you are so close to the brand and you're going to convey more passion, energy than anyone else. And demos is one of those things. Trade shows, obviously, make sure the founders at the trade show, don't go to the bathroom at trade shows, don't drink any water, stay at your booth for the entire time.
Shake hands and kiss babies.
Yeah. So like I've learned definitely at Genius Juice, even, it's really interesting, but the branding, right, and the packaging side, we did our last 2 packaging changes on 99 designs, which cost us $1,200. The Harmless Harvest packaging, which, semi-competitor, right, in the coconut water space, they did it for $500, the 2 hands holding the coconut. A friend of theirs did it on Illustrator. So like being intimately hands-on as a founder and owner partner, whether you have someone outside your organization doing it, make sure you're hands-on and in everything as far as launching your brand and building it. So I think we are basically out of time as far as the guest part. So we're gonna get you guys on your way to your Friday. But Rachel Robb with Critical Mass Group, Bella Hughes with Better Sour, and also she founded Shaka Tea, and Rahul Batra with Raja, the RTD chai latte coming out in the spring of 2024. Thank you all for, number one, being fans of the show and tuning in. Number 2, giving advice and feedback and insights to everyone here that's tuning in. And also thank you for taking the time. We really appreciate you guys.
Awesome. Thank you. And all the links are in the chat. And thank you all very much. Appreciate it.
Happy 100.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Take good care.
Bye.
Okay. Whoops. There we go. So let's go in to stuff we love. We have a couple minutes for that, right?
I'm relying on you for this because of the dress attire. I did not get a chance to get prepared for this, so I'm relying on you for stuff we love this week.
Okay, well, stuff we love. Let's roll right into it.
I'm looking around to see if I have something nearby, and I don't. So
yeah, nothing. Back pockets, gum, nothing. Okay,
nothing.
All right.
I'll make up for it next week.
Yeah, there we go. So I got a few packages, and one it's in the fridge, and so I don't have it on me, but it's Coyotas tortillas. I had that for lunch today. No way, no freaking way, man.
I absolutely did, and because I'm gonna pull the website up real quick.
It's Janet. So Janet, yes, and I'm gonna get her full last name here, but she basically co-founded with her husband Coyotas
gluten-free tortillas.
It's Pavlovich, Janet Flores Pavlovich, and they co-founded it. It's a grain-free cassava tortilla. It's organic. It's the only, to me, what I've seen in stores, the only organic, really clean, no gums, no nothing, just like cassava, salt, and a couple other ingredients, and they have tortillas. And they're amazing, and so I like to pan fry them. That's my way of doing it. How do you eat them?
Well, today I got the package last week, and just terrific people. I did business with them in California when I was at Jimbo's. Just hustlers. We talk about Bilal and Bilani and being hustlers. Janet in the stores doing demos, talking about the product firsthand. The founders there, just great stuff. As Alex said, very super clean. I think there are 4 ingredients, if I'm not mistaken. And today I just made a quesadilla with it today with cheese. I made steak tacos the other day. I mean, I've had them probably 3 or 4 times in the last week. And I'm not saying that because Alex brought them up. I'm glad my head's been spinning between work and the show and everything else going on. I wasn't quite prepared to talk about a specific brand, but Alex triggered me. But I literally have ate them probably 3 or 4 times in the last week.
Yeah, they're amazing. They're in Whole Foods in Southern California. They're a Southern California brand. They got the inch wide, I would say tortilla wide, and then really deep in Southern California. It was a terrible joke, but someone laughed. And there you go. I got a laugh out of it. So yeah, great brand. And go to your Whole Foods, Southern California, and buy it. The other one I want to mention that I just got these, and let me do this. Let me stop the screen. Is this halva? So this is I've seen this in Whole Foods in SoCal and a bunch of other natural stores. So I think it's just eathalva.com, I believe. No. Hebel, it's HEBELCO.com.
Yep.
So I think Hebel and Co. is the name of the company. Halva is the name of the product. It's an organic sesame tahini treat. And I would describe it as almost like cotton candy. It's a little bit, when you see it, it's a little bit weird. Like when you first see it, it looks like almost baked bread or something. But the ingredients in it are fantastic. It's sweet. It's made in Los Angeles. I wanted to bring the roots back here to LA for this show, right? So it's organic sesame. It's all organic. Sesame seeds, tapioca syrup for the sweetener, cane sugar, peanuts. This is the peanut butter chocolate crisp, cacao beans, cocoa butter, vanilla beans, quinoa, a little bit of palm oil, but it's organic, sustainably sourced, kuliaha, which is a thickener, all natural, and sea salt. Like, super, super clean. And so the ones, they sent me 6 of them. And my favorites are the peanut butter chocolate crisp. I've had that one before in Whole Foods. The chocolate chunk and the almond coconut. So that's halva, and we have the link up there. So
I was going to say links up there. I'll shout them out because you shouted them out. I did get my package today as well. I've not tried it yet.
Okay,
I've not tried it yet, so I'm not going to. But if you go to their website, in their about section, they tell you how you can use it. It sounds like it's multifunctional. With you can use it on bread. You can do it on along ice cream, yogurt, you name it. It sounds like there's a lot of different options to use the product. So I look forward to trying it, definitely. Yeah,
I just ate it straight. I'm like, I don't have the energy to try to put it on something else, and I'm impatient, and it looks really good. So I just dug into it. So, all right. So that is stuff we love there. Thank you. And again, thank you for sending the samples and we're going to shout you. If we didn't shout you out this week, we're going to shout you out next week or in coming weeks. So if you have any samples to send, and I think Wade, you'll have it locked up here, is cpgvibes100@gmail.com. We'll give you my address, Wade's address, and you can send us samples and we will enjoy them. We'll eat them and we'll show them on the show. If we like them, we have to love them, actually. So, but thank you for sending those. And again, please send hoodies. I need a hoodie. I have
Alex is cold.
We're cold. We're freaking cold out here, man, and it's going to rain this weekend in LA.
I was going to say, Alex, cry me a river. It's 32 and it's going to drop down in the teens tonight. So I'm not feeling too much empathy for you right now, buddy.
Yeah, you got the thick skin, the thick Midwestern.
I did, skin. But it's we talk about this. It's kind of deteriorated over the moves. And,
right.
It's slowly coming back because out of necessity, not because I want to. So
right. Well, so the next phase of the show before we go is that I'm feeling really good. It was a great 100th episode. We had great guests on. We had some big news just on the Nut Pods front. We have fancy food coming up this weekend. There's a lot of great action in the CPG arena. I'm going to do a prize. I'm going to do a giveaway, and nice. I'm going to pack the giveaway myself with mystery items. that I love, and I'm going to go out and buy them. I have to probably go to a few different stores to find all of them, but I'm going to curate it and put it together, and then I'm going to send it. You have to be in the continental United States, so excluding Hawaii. Sorry, Bella, any relatives of Bella, and Alaska. Sorry, Jesse Pinkman, who's in Alaska, for those that watch the show. So, but the 48 states, I will send it to anywhere in the country, and I'm going to include not 100 prizes. I wish I can 100 products. That'd be a little too much, but I'll include 4 or 5 for you. Curated, healthy, organic, delicious. So my question is it's one that was said by Bella, actually. And I was trying to look it up and get more, information on it. But she mentioned a type of ethnic term, an organization that she is a part of and she's a founder of, and she actually formed or is part of this organization. And it's I think it's an acronym, and it's 4 letters. What is that term?
Wow.
And she talks fast, so it's pretty hard.
We'll see if anyone gets that one. That one might be challenging, huh?
It's challenging because it's episode 100.
There's Allison. Is that the right answer?
Yeah, I know it's I didn't get the spelling on it, but that's it. That is it. And Allison is a sweetheart. I've been seeing her updates on trying out for Shark Tank and My Family Seasonings, and she's an awesome, awesome person and very giving and very caring. So she deserves this. So Allison, congratulations. You got it. And there, Katie got it too. There you go.
No,
so it wasn't too hard, right?
Yeah, well, I was going to say, no. Definitely.
Yeah. If Excellent. 2 people get it within a minute, that checks the box right there, that it's not too hard.
Right on.
Okay. Well, what are you doing this weekend with your 32-degree weather?
No, it's 32 now, but it's about to drop about another 15 degrees.
You're not going out in that, are you?
No. Staying warm, probably a fire, probably some Netflix and chill. And yeah, that's nothing too exciting. How about you?
Tonight, going to go out with a friend. So we're just going to hang out, grab some dinner in this frigid 51-degree weather. And I'll be wearing my Tenzo T hoodie, the same hoodie that I wore when I scored 76 playing golf this week. So I hit a big milestone playing golf, and I hit in the 70s. I hit 6 over. It's a par 70 course. Insane. I don't want to talk too much about it because I could talk for 20 minutes, but all the holes that I always struggled with on this course, Chester, Washington, which is in LA near Inglewood, there's like this one hole, I always get a fucking double bogey on it. Always. Like, it's in my head. I'm like, I set up to hit. I'm like, I'm going to get a double bogey. And then I hit it and it goes like I chunk it, or goes over the green, or goes right, or goes to the bunker. This time I was just in the zone. I can't explain it. It was a phenomenon. And I hit it 6 feet from the pin.
Nice.
Like 180-yard par 3. And then there was another one that was 200 yards. I never hit this green. Never. It always goes right. It always goes short. And I used a 5-iron, which is very hard to use. Hitting 200 yards is very difficult hole. And it's very, very narrow. And I hit it about 10 feet from the pin. It was insane. One last thing, and I'll shut up. On an easy hole, I hit a huge drive, 300 yards, which I never do. 300 yards. It was insane. And I was on a hill near a tree, 2 trees in front, and a bunker, and then the pin. I used an 8-iron. I hit it. I don't know. I don't even know how I did this. Like, I can't even repeat what I did. And I heard a sound. Like, it hit the green. I heard a sound, like a plasticky sound. And I'm like, what happened there? And so I went around, I drove up. It hit the pin right near the hole and left a mark 1 inch from the hole. And then it bounced 2 feet from the pin. I putted it in for birdie. It was awesome. It was fun.
That's great. That's great. Good stuff.
Yeah. So give me a hoodie so I can go out and golf with it, because it is cold up here, reasonably cold, kind of cold. So, so that's going to be today. And then on the weekend, it's raining. So I'll just be spending time with family, with my son Aaron and my wife Ashley, and just playing board games and reading and watching Netflix. So That's
right on. Right on. Excellent. Excellent. Well, we'll see everyone back here next week, same time, same channel. 101. We're 101 next week.
Yep. The freeway that goes all the way up to San Francisco from LA, right?
Absolutely.
So Wade, goes without saying, I'll say it anyway. Love you, buddy. It's been a true joy in having all these episodes and being with you, being a friend, being a colleague, and just sharing the show with you, man. It's been great.
Likewise, buddy. I love you. And here's to the next 100 starting next week.
Exactly. We're going to get up to 1,000, go from there. That's our next goal, right?
There you go. Let's do it.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. We will see you next week. Same time, same place, Friday, 2:30 Pacific, 5:30 Eastern for episode 101. And thank you to our CPG community as well. And I will see you at Fancy Food Show on Monday. If you are going, make sure to hit me up on January 22nd. Take care, everyone.